All right, here we go. You guys ready for this? Ready or not? Here I come. Boogies. Welcome to New Way Stories. It's a comedy podcast about creativity and story, and sometimes / all of the time we devolve into movies and comic books. I am your host, Jesse Roberts. With me as always, Darius Giles. Some call him...
I am your host, Darius Giles.
Nope.
With me as always is Jesse Roberts. Some call him... Oh.
Some call Darius. Some say he's a mix between Maximus from Gladiator and Denzel Washington. Did you know that?
No, but it makes sense.
A lot of people have said that.
A lot of people on the street, they say, "Are you?" I first saw you. I thought you were Russell Crowe.
No, it's not even Russell Crowe. They go, "I thought you died." Is that not Maximus?
Right.
But then you hear him talk and you go,
years ago.
You go, wait a second. Not Maximus.
No.
You're the hit Hollywood actor.
Yep.
Denzel Washington.
Yep.
From
miss a pass, you'll run a lap.
From
you
Philadelphia.
Miss a block, you'll run a mile. You drop the ball and I'll break my foot off in your John Brown hind parts.
What's
Or is,
No, go for it.
no, that's like the.
I wanted to set you up so that you can do a Gladiator line in your
super
Denzel.
kind of you. Because everyone has been freaking out about the Gladiator 2
and we'll
trailer,
get there.
and it's just so weird. But I just in my head keep going, like, you miss a chop, you run a lap. You miss a slice, you run a mile. You get your head chopped off, and I will break my foot off in your John Brown hind parts. All right, okay, yes, I will. But it's better, honestly. The best thing is to just be like, why are they doing Denzel now? Why didn't they just cast Denzel as the first Gladiator?
That would have been sick.
Because every line, oh, you want to know who I am? Oh, you want to know? Do you? All right, let me take my mask off. Oh,
I'm the Spaniard.
I am Maximus Decimus Meridius. Yes, sir. I'm the leader of the Felix Legions. I'm a general of the Roman army, and I'm loyal. Oh, yes, I am. I'm loyal to the true emperor, Marcus Aurelius. I'm the father to a murdered son. I'm the husband to a murdered wife. And I'm going to have my vengeance, let me tell you right now, in this life or in the next. And that would have been a perfect. I mean, Gladiator's already perfect.
And the answer to the eternal question, "Are you not entertained?" The answer is yes. Yes, we are.
Okay. Are you not entertained?
Are you not entertained?
Are you not? I'm bigger than King Kong. Yeah,
that's great.
So happy about that.
And also with us is our producer extraordinaire, Ben Salazar. Some call him a mix between Diego Luna and the El Chupacabra. He's handsome and mystical, and potentially rabid,
and definitively Latino.
And definitively Latino. There's no leeway there. Darius, we don't really know because his name is Darius. You know, if you're just listening to this through audio, he's Darius. His backstory is,
you're not sure.
You're not sure. And he does a pretty mean Denzel, and
but I am chalk white. I look like I'm ready to go on a powerlifter's hands before they do a deadlift. They're about to powder me all over themselves. I look like baby powder.
So, but Ben is definitively Hispanic.
Indeed. I have a little bit of Japanese.
Come on, Ben.
As do we all.
Don't be. How much Japanese are you?
I'm an eighth.
Eighth.
My great grandfather Japanese.
That's a lot of Japanese. Japanese.
It is a lot. He has 1/8 honor.
Fun fact: you guys know that Japan is in no way the name for the country of Japan. It's not even close. I mean, it's,
are you
I
saying like
suppose
what Japanese people call it? Because I'm
Indeed.
pretty sure it still is called Japan on like maps.
Yes.
But this is like a Spain and España sort of situation.
It is just way farther away.
Really?
It is Nihon.
I wonder what that means.
Nihon.
I wonder what that means in
English.
Well, I believe
Nihonese.
it means land of the rising sun.
Oh, is that what it is?
I think.
I mean,
so.
that's what they call it. Yeah.
I don't know. I
Not
honestly
they.
don't know.
You know what I mean.
You know, that's what they call it. That's what they call it.
Yeah, the place of the rising sun. Because the sun rises in the east, but it sets in the west. Jackie Chan's not Japanese, but I am quoting.
Here,
I am quoting Shanghai,
come from,
dude.
you ain't. Sure, maybe the sun rises where you come from. Where I'm from, it sets. Dude, I was at a conference this week, and this dude, he was a great preacher. He was a short Latino dude from Central Florida, Puerto Rican man.
Yeah.
He sounded identical to Owen Wilson. It was the weirdest thing. I told all my team that was there at the conference, I was like, close your eyes, picture Owen Wilson. And they were like, what the F?
Picture this guy has long blonde hair and a broken nose. They go, wow, it is him.
I told the guy, I was like, has anyone ever told you sound just like Owen Wilson? He goes, talking about the guy with the broken nose? And I was like, same one. Yep.
No. Wow.
Crazy.
No, I've
one's
never
ever said
heard
that to me before.
Oh, that's amazing.
My whole life.
All right. We're going to keep moving right along here.
Yes.
Ben is going to give us an update on the DCU.
Whoa.
He's going to give us a news flash sooner or later in this episode, but not right now. Not right now. I want to really keep you on your toes. Today we're discussing being present and aware to set yourself up for creativity.
Yes,
it's going to be a lot of fun. But first, we're going to do a couple different things. We're going to go, this is a new thing I'm introducing. It's called Rapid Fire.
Okay.
Rapid fire.
Okay. And it's not really something we're going to always do, but it gives us a chance to talk about things I want to talk about in a very short segment. Have you guys seen the Captain America trailer?
Yes.
What?
With Anthony Mackie.
Brave New World.
Brave New World. It's a
We're going to take a break
brave
right
new-
now. We're going to have to take a pause right now.
All right, you
I have
want to take a
not
pause
seen
for the
this trailer.
cause?
I am so sorry.
You done with the trailer?
Oh, wow.
Wow.
It's crazy. Can't believe there's so much going on.
Okay. So
Giancarlo Esposito, to be specific.
we're just doing rapid fire. So I'm looking for like a couple sentences from both of you. How do you feel about
Have Darius go first.
Darius? Immediate reaction. If you weren't watching, you won't be watching because we edited this out. But Darius did grimace at one point.
I don't remember when I grimaced.
Towards the end, but you did that.
That probably was when I saw, okay, so I have like literally less than 10 words. Isaiah Bradley, new suit, Red Hulk.
Boom.
That's it.
Yeah.
The trailer makes it look sick.
Looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
You know, it does look like a cool movie.
Yeah.
It's released in February.
Yeah, indeed.
Which history tells us movies released in February blow.
Suck.
Like, I don't know what.
Like you couldn't wait 2 more months into May. Like
Beginning of May, end of April is when the Marvel summer is supposed to kick off.
Yes, the summer.
But you're kicking it off in February.
Hot Hero Summer.
Well, apparently it was supposed to be released this month.
Yeah.
This year. But I don't think I think it was a mixture of strikes and then also there was a couple of early screenings. Wasn't looking super great, and they had to do a lot of reshoots.
And so it's released in February.
Yeah, they're like,
I am a big fan of Sam. I did not like the way that they I didn't really love the way that they handled Sam's character in the show. Sam is like in the Marvel Cinematic Universe up until Falcon Winter Soldier, Sam was fun. He was funny. He was very loyal to Steve. That's a huge part of who Sam is. Whether you think it's racist or not, that's a huge part of the character they created, and it worked. And so, I think the way that they're like, he's all like broody and angry now, and I understand that they're trying to portray something like meaningful with that. But he looks all broody and angry in the movie, and I think Sam is kind of like, I don't know. He's just more of a fun character than that. So I don't know.
Yeah.
To Steve Rogers, not like he was broody, but he was very serious. We're blah blah
Takes
blah.
Captain America very seriously.
Yeah, sure. And then Sam was kind of like the light, especially in Winter Soldier, like in Civil War too with Bucky. They were cracking wise.
Yeah, he's cracking all the wise.
Ben, what's your thoughts?
It looks better than I thought. I like that we're going back to some like a thriller, like a.
Yeah, it looks like Winter Soldier.
Yeah, but I don't think it's gonna come close to that.
Kate and I watched an old trailer for this movie called Practical Magic last night, and I haven't seen it. Kate watched it recently. It's like a 1998 movie with Sandra Bullock and Nicole Kidman.
Movie scared the crap out of me when I was a kid.
So yeah, it's like a pretty serious movie and like emotional. There are like funny moments in it apparently, but the trailer, dude, is like 90s rom-com. Like, she's a witch and struggling with love, and then her sister's kind of a wild girl. Like, can they keep love alive? And Kate's like, that's not the tone of this movie at all.
Absolutely.
And I think like trailers can really set you up for success or failure. And I fear that if like I see the trailer, I hope to capture tone and a bit of the story out of the trailer. And like maybe like one exciting thing to kind of give me a hook. And so if it is not the correct tone that the trailer gave off, then it ruins my expectations in a bad way.
Yeah,
we need to talk about like trailers and how they can be misleading, because you said like it could either make or break like the success of a movie, because it reminded me of Suicide Squad. It had such a great trailer. It looked so fun and exciting and edgy, and the movie sucked.
You're talking about the not James Gunn one or the James Gunn one?
The James Gunn one is the Suicide Squad. This is Suicide Squad 2016.
My bad. I've been watching this YouTube game show called Actually, and he reads like facts about nerd things that have big followings, and then the three contestants have to chime in and say actually, and then correct the thing that's wrong with the statement. And I just felt like that was a Ben moment. I have thought about Ben a lot during this. There you go. I think Ben would really love this. But actually, the James Gunn one is the Suicide Squad.
And it's a much better movie.
Yeah. So, yeah, I feel that. Trailers would be a fun topic. Yes.
What is your, what did you call this segment? Not newsflash.
Rapid fire.
Rapid fire. What's your rapid fire for Captain America 4?
It's being released in February. That's like, there's so much that you can, for me, there's so much that you can tell for director, writer, actors, release date. Like, to me, it looks sick, but being released in February tells me that the studio doesn't believe in this movie.
Do you want to know why? Because you know what releases a year from now yesterday? And they probably did not want to go against it because it would absolutely tank this movie. Superman.
Yeah, but you don't have to release it in July, though. You can release it
in May you would barely have a month.
Dude,
that's all you need in today's theaters, right? Like,
I think
they're barely in a month.
Disney's been struggling, but I don't think they're struggling so much that they're afraid of DC quite yet.
I don't know.
I don't think it's got that bad yet.
This is going to be it. Ben, news flash. Flash.
Okay, you think I wasn't ready for this? Watch this. I am ready to go. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, Ben.
I'm not ready.
Totally ready.
I was going to share my screen so you all can see. I had these things and links pull up. Okay. Start share.
Oh boy, we're going to try this again?
We're just
giving Ben...
There's no audio, so it's fine.
Ben's giving himself more editing issues.
Share.
So I'm just going to be honest with you. Here's what they've done I'm looking at the credits for Captain America, and what they've done is, this could still work really well, but they've done that thing where they've only hired writers and directors who have written black stuff. And that's it. They're very talented people, but the problem is when you narrow your talent pool to a certain
they're trying
ethnicity,
to force a certain.
Well, you literally just narrow the talent pool. Like literally, it's not even. I'm just talking about math. Like you're gonna get more talented people because of the size of the talent pool.
Yeah.
Statistically, the bigger the pool is.
I mean, that's why like China and America always do great in the Olympics, is because they're such huge countries. Ireland is less, like, smaller than Washington State, right? So,
right. Yes.
When you see an Irish person at the top, you're like, oh, this person is actually like,
that's insane.
This is insane, right? But then you're like, well, you know, America is over 50 times the size of Ireland. Like, you'd better find something. Yes. All right, Ben.
Okay, we're in. Okay, so like I said, a year from yesterday, Superman gets released. And actually today, James Gunn tweeted, and this is like the new logo. Here it is. He posted this as like a...
I like it. It's kind of like retro.
Yeah. So there's been a lot of... Oh, shoot, I lost it. Is this it? Okay, so my favorite leak. So we saw... we've recently seen Mr. Terrific. We've seen Hawk Girl. And then we finally saw... what's his name? As Green Lantern.
Right.
Nathan Fillion
as Green Lantern.
Oh, okay.
And I've heard some people kind of make fun of the looks, and I'm going to defend it a little bit. But let's watch this. Oh, it's not this one. This is Stunt Rehearsal.
I definitely am in for Nathan Fillion.
So here's let's just go over. So here's here they are. We have Nathan Fillion as Green Lantern, Hawk Girl, and Mr. Terrific. And so, is it a normal Green Lantern look? No, but here's what I think is going on because of the next clip. I think we'll explain it. So I think this is sort of like a small Justice League or Justice Society forming, and Mr. Terrific is kind of like this. He's very wealthy. He kind of has his own brand of stuff. He has his own ship. He has the T-ship, Mr. Terrific. And so he's very much about the fame of being a superhero.
So you think he's like branded this Justice League?
He's branded them, and that's why they all have similar looking outfits.
And it's actually going to be like a funny moment where they're like, why are we wearing these ridiculous things? And he's like, no, it's great. See?
I'll also say it looks super cheesy, but I feel like it's hard to judge like what costumes look like before they actually like go into the editing and like put the final touches.
Color correct.
Well,
so
and even under the set lights, because all this stuff on Hawk Girl that looks rubber, it will look metal.
Yep.
In the movie.
Right.
That's the way the set lights
It is crazy, like
work.
how much that.
So, and
like,
the
matters.
reason why. So, sorry, what were you gonna say?
No, that's it.
So, and there was another scene where kind of Mr. Terrific and Superman, they were kind of standing here. Let me see if I can find the picture. Standing in front of what is it called? The Daily Planet, right here. And there seems to be rubble falling, so maybe something happens, and they both arrive to it. And so they're trying to figure out, like some people were saying, like, oh, Mr. Terrific's going to want to take the credit for it, and Superman comes in. They kind of like, so I think you'll have that, like Superman wanting to help for the right reasons, but Mr. Terrific wants to do it for the fame of being a superhero. And another reason that
could be really fun.
That kind of led me to this is this clip. No, that's Superman and Lois. Of when they fly in, the whole team, you got Green Lantern, all these people. So they all walk in, there's a big crowd, but immediately Superman gets greeted by a crowd of children, and they're so excited to see him. And
like Jesus.
I'm trying to find the clip of it.
Don't have to be so angry. He gets greeted by a crowd of children. Jesus.
Reminds me of Gaffigan's bit where Mary's trying to tell Joseph that she's like, well, an angel came to visit me. Jesus Christ, Mary. Oh, you know.
That's such a stupid dad joke, but Jim Gaffigan is...
The way he delivers it, it's perfect.
So also, seeing him do it as Clark Kent, you got the big suit. He's got the scruffy hair, making himself look very different.
Yeah.
Yep.
Does look
I
like
have
a shovel.
to say, for whatever it's worth, I really appreciate the way that they went with the classic. He looks like a classic early 20th century athlete.
Yeah.
You know, like Henry Cavill had it so that you could see every single one of his 19 abs in the suit. And he had like a strange, I don't know what it is about the way Henry Cavill's built, because he's like 6 feet tall, but he looks kind of compact when he's all shredded. And this guy's got like the big, broad Superman look.
Mm-hmm. Gosh, I'm really trying to find this. Oh, they were doing stunt scene so this will be a cool little fun moment.
Ballroom dancing in the air.
Oh, another thing, Christopher Reeve's son will be playing a reporter.
Like, they're doing like the Apollo Creed and Arnold Schwarzenegger moment, right? That's what this is?
Yep, that's what that is. Gosh, I'm really trying to find this. I think it's from here. I think we'll find it here. Oh, yes, here it is. So they all come in landing, right? Mr. Terrific, Green Lantern, Hawk Girl. And then boom. Oh, he picks one of them up.
Oh, and Mr. Terrific is going to be pissed.
Yeah, and you can even see Green Lantern doing like a pointing thing, and he turns back and he looks. He's like, oh. Like if you watch Nathan Fillion, he's like doing a, oh, look at me.
You love Nathan Fillion.
I love Nathan Fillion.
You see it right there.
I mean, we all know this, but I'm going to say it for the audience. This is amazing because Nathan Fillion has been the voice of the Green Lantern in all of the DC comics animated.
I didn't actually know that.
Yeah.
But James Gunn did say that he wants to like have that carryover, which is a lot of fun.
And then also last thing, Creature Commandos should be coming out this year, and then that will be the big thing that they'll be promoting at Comic-Con, I believe. I don't know if they might show some set photos and official images of Superman and the rest of the crew, but this is what's
You're
coming
saying
out
this comes out this year?
Mm-hmm.
Like as a live action or?
No, animated. This is cartoon.
Oh, it was an anime. I gotcha.
This is what
Cool.
Also, a star-studded cast. It's nuts. You should look it up. But that's it. Superman coming out next year. It's going to be fun.
I will say that, listen, I am interested in where the DC is going. Mm-hmm. And I still again, I don't know. I just feel burned by Marvel where I'm like, you're going to have to make a really awesome movie to like get me back on the Marvel train.
Just make at least one really good one. Just one really good one.
Yeah.
It's not a sequel, maybe.
I'm just starting to get, 20 years into this superhero trend, I'm starting to more and more get over it.
I think James
someone who still buys comic books is quite the statement.
I think James Gunn's Superman will be very refreshing. I think it's even with the suits, you brought that up. And a lot of other stuff now, it's like okay for superheroes to have bright colors and like, have a more comic-based suit. It doesn't have to be leather jackets,
All right, here's another rapid fire. This is totally rapid fire, Well, we did add in Ben's news flash. How did you guys feel about the Gladiator 2 trailer? Did you watch it, Ben?
Yeah. I think I saw photos. I think I watched it.
Fun thing, the like naval battle in the Colosseum is like a real thing. There's like historic precedents for that. That they like filled it.
Nuts.
Probably not the sharks, apparently.
Sure.
And then also
filled it with water.
Yeah, they filled it with water and like did naval battle stuff. It happened a few times in the Colosseum, apparently, but there's more evidence of it happening in like smaller venues.
Okay. How would they possibly do that without?
Yeah, great question.
20th century water.
The point
lines.
is, I was watching this video on it. The point is that Rome wanted to essentially continue to show that like we can do whatever we want. And it's like, we'll do this naval battle so that when 10,000 people come into the Colosseum, they're like, like Rome is unstoppable.
Yeah, Rome is God. Yeah.
And it like is working because thousands of years later, we're like, Rome is unstoppable. Even though like the Roman Empire has collapsed, we're like they're unstoppable, right? Like there's maybe they've shifted a little bit. Now they're focusing on like pizza and stuff, but like still unstoppable. So
they've got old leaders with funny hats now,
and then
but they're still doing great stuff.
Again, apparently Ridley Scott's like obsessed with this idea of the gladiators riding in on rhinos. Like he tried to put it in the first one as well.
And they were like,
which I don't know, because when I looked at it, it looks really dumb. The person riding in on the rhino. And I think too, in the first one, they had the tigers, but they had real tigers.
Yeah.
Right? And it looked really, really cool, even though historically that's also not accurate. They did something, they had a bunch of like exotic animals, but it's in the morning time. It's called the Big Hunt. So they would like import all these exotic animals, and then they would, people would kill the animals, and then they'd, pull out everything. And in
the evening,
and then the gladiators would fight.
Slave killing.
So it wasn't like a whole lot of like interacting there. But
yeah, interesting. What have you been reading? What book have you been reading, Jesse? we all of a sudden know everything about the Colosseum.
So there's this channel called History Hit that Kate and I like subscribe to.
That's fun.
We even pay. We pay a monthly subscription for
Patreon
like
thing.
More exclusive content, but they do like
I'll check
historical. They break down like kind of the historical accuracy, and I appreciate it because he's like, all right, I'm going to give you like historical context, but he's like, this is Hollywood. It's supposed to be a spectacle. I get it. Like, and I really appreciate that.
Right.
Like, I just get so perturbed when someone's like, no, this isn't real. Yeah, well, it's a movie.
It's all.
If you were there watching it in person, it would have been very boring.
Right. Yeah.
You would have had to have spent 10 years with Russell Crowe as he goes through all of these things.
But even still, I do think, even with that being said, I think someone needed to be like, hey, Ridley, riding a rhino is stupid. Like,
riddle me this.
Unless you could have done a real rhino. If you could have ridden in on a real rhino, then I would have bought it. But if you have to CG it,
no,
not about it.
I would say the Fire Nation is the group of people in my mind that does the best with people riding rhinos. But you wouldn't know anything about that, Jess, because you still have only watched one episode of Avatar: The Last Airbender.
I've watched at least 7 episodes at this point.
Did you get to the... You've watched the Rough Riders at the island of Kyoshi.
The Rough Riders, you're thinking of Theodore Roosevelt.
You know what? I do think about Theodore Roosevelt quite a bit. Old Teddy is on my mind quite a lot. But yes.
Because of Rob Williams' portrayal in Night at the Museum.
Honestly, not ever. Unless
did you know that Theodore Roosevelt has a wildlife book like on his adventures, and there's a Bigfoot story in there. He's like convinced that he saw a Sasquatch and that it killed like one of his traveling companions.
Sounds like he killed one of his traveling companions and wrote a really good story.
No. There's like this mythical ape creature that
yes. What happened to Nathan? It was extremely unfortunate, sir.
Tim
Let me
kept
tell you
putting his coffee cups back not clean, and it's like Sasquatch killed him. It's crazy.
After so many days of leaving the mosquito net unfastened, the Sasquatches have become furious with him.
I was gonna do a quick question, but this rapid fire got a little out of hand.
We're gonna cut a lot.
Good.
We have a little bit of time.
Good. You guys want it? Quick question. How long would you survive on a desert island? Could you be Tom Hanks? Or are you going to give into the elements? And
how long was he on there?
How long can someone go without water?
Tom Hanks was on there for like 3 years.
I could probably do 4 months and then I'm dead.
You think 4 months? Could you get clean water inside of 6 days?
Is it 3 days? Is it 6 days that you need clean water or 3?
I think in good conditions, you can last like a week.
I would say I could last a week.
Yeah. But I think on a desert island with it being super hot, like if you didn't have clean water immediately, then it probably would be less than a week.
That you'd be the thing is, if your plane crashes in the middle of the Pacific Ocean,
could you survive the plane crash? That's the first question.
On an island. You will not make it to an island. There's about 100 islands, and there's about 10 million square miles of ocean.
Yeah. Yes. That I always thought about that with like the zombie apocalypse, right? There's always this like, if zombie apocalypse happens like this, I'm going to survive this way. And then I'm like, I get it. I understand the like fantasizing about that sort of moment. But the realistic thing is that over 99% of the population dies from whatever like virus happens. So you will die in that. Like you're not the 1%. Like, yeah, and you want to survive the virus and then a zombie apocalypse? Like, come on.
Someone's a little uppity.
Okay, I'll put my answer down to a week. It would probably be a little less, to be honest, because I get dehydrated very easily.
Yeah, I'm glad that I've humbled you guys a little bit. So you guys, I think I could do the full 3 years.
Dang it.
I also think you could probably do the full 3 years. I have never had any interest in wildlife survival techniques. And that's what it is. I am very interested in how, in like active shooter situations and have done more research on like how am I going to survive if there is something like that. I'm pretty aware of stuff like that, and I take precautions every time I go out with that.
I was going to say you're thinking about stuff that could happen in society. I'm entrenched into the like I'm taking a cruise that is like 2 miles off the coast of land, right? Like it's civilization is never that far away.
I'll tell you this though, I don't know if I could make the swim back to the mainland 2 miles out.
Okay, so Kate and I are going to Hawaii in October, and
let's go.
I am not a good swimmer, and I haven't really ever swam in the ocean a whole lot.
Sure.
Just because Washington oceans
are cold.
Are cold.
Not fun.
But I'm like, I want to do a ton of snorkeling. And so I'm like, I need to like go, I want to start going to Lions Pool and like start building up my like swimming
Nice.
So that I can just like be out there snorkeling with the fish the entire time.
Snorkeling is super easy though. And you can also get a life vest pretty much for free.
And I want to like dive though. I want to get in it.
Get you.
But like salt water's more buoyant, so you can stay on the surface.
Staying on the surface is not the issue. Yeah, the snorkel really. Me and Brittany have done the snorkeling. You should definitely go practice swimming. I don't want to discourage you from healthy exercise.
Yeah, because how guilty would you feel if I drowned in Hawaii? Well, you don't need to practice swimming.
I wouldn't feel guilty. I would feel like I told Jesse to stop eating gas station burritos 2 decades ago.
Okay, dude. I've gotten back on the gas station burrito trend recently. No! It's just that they're so easy and delicious.
You know what else is super easy and delicious and super cheap? Getting a kid's meal from Chipotle. It's like $6.
Kids meal?
Yeah, it's $6. You get 3 tacos. There's so much protein in it.
Ben gets on this like kids meal train. I take him out to Majors and he like gets the kids like
It's such a good deal. It's like
it's funny because he's the size of a child with the beard of a man.
Yeah. So I don't know.
You get rice and beans. You get to build your own taco.
Okay,
2 tacos.
Like I have to say something before I forget. I just want to give a quick shout out to like I spoke at a couple of events, and when they introduced me at both of the events I spoke at, they told the students at these events that I had a podcast. I made sure to tell them I did not have a podcast. Jesse had a podcast, and I was on that podcast.
Proper.
And then I winced as if I was waiting to get hit by someone after I said that. And then also, multiple kids came up to me, young people, not kids, but like young people came up to me, and they were like, "Hey, can we find your podcast?" And so if I met you at camp or I met you at summer kickoff event, thanks for listening, dudes.
Hey,
this is much less spiritual than the preaching times, but I hope
it will be.
We're gonna get into it. We're gonna get into it.
I'm glad y'all are here.
I will say, yeah. Hey, welcome. I will say this: I watch the show Survivor. Kate and I eat Thai food on Thursdays, and then watch Survivor.
That's adorable.
And they're always complaining about how hungry they are, and like, they're like, "I've just eaten rice and coconuts for 20 days.
That's insane.
You've got an ocean full of fish, right?
Yeah.
Right. I'm like, if I was on this island,
you'd be getting those
we would
fish.
Be eating like kings. I'd build a fish trap immediately. I don't know.
Build a fish trap. That sounds awesome.
Or like even just like crabs, man. They're like there. They're just
Kill them.
They're just like
Boil
on the.
them.
Yeah, and it would be super tasty.
Plant some lemons.
What now? If it was the three of us, how long would the three of us last?
A little bit longer because we would eat you immediately. We would have solid protein for a little bit.
That I oftentimes think about like how I want my reaction speed to be as quick as possible. That was the least amount of lag for a quick fire bit that maybe I've ever heard.
Good times. Good times. All right, let's get into being spiritual.
Yep.
So Seth Giles, Darius's little brother,
What?
texted me last night about inspiration, and we should have him on the pod. He was talking about the tension, my word, between not
Write it down.
wanting to only create when he feels
detention?
inspiration.
Oh, sorry.
So he was talking about the tension between not wanting to only create when he feels quote unquote divinely inspired, but then realize like being driven and looking for said inspiration actually leads to like a fulfilling path in life. And like when he's acting out of that inspiration, it is a good thing. And that got me thinking too, and we've kind of sort of talked about this before, but you can't like, you can't limit yourself to like, you know, when you wake up in the morning, you're like, I'm not really feeling super inspired today, so I can't create, right? There is an element of work like aspect to creativity. Like you got to put your nose to the grindstone and like go for it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, you do need inspiration.
Yeah.
I actually had that literally this morning. I've really been struggling with getting the second Space Pioneer going.
Right.
And I've just been like laboring through. I'm sitting down, I'm writing, I'm not getting a ton of stuff done. But I'm like pushing through. And then this morning, it kind of clicked. There was one thing, just as I've been pondering on it, there's one thing that happened last week that I was like, oh, that would be a sick like through line. That would be a great thing. And then it clicked this morning as I'm just like typing stuff out. I'm writing and like trying to follow like a structure. I was like, oh, this is the motivation for the character. Like this gets me into the story. And that's like what I needed. And because I didn't have that motivation, it was like very laborious
That's cool.
to create, right? So putting in the work led to like an inspiration. There are definitely moments, and I think Rick Rubin talks about in the creative act. Here we go. Boom. The creative act.
Oh, that's not a creative act. That's an eyeball.
No, it's a record or a CD. Depends on. Or
no,
it's a circle.
No. When it's written like that and it's bound, it's not a record. It's a book.
Oh, that records.
It is a written record.
Information.
Yeah.
It's a written. It's yeah. But he talks about always being like aware for inspiration and like being present, right? So the quote is, well, where is that quote? There it is. Do what you can with what you have. Nothing more is needed. And I think that's very sobering kind of thought for me. It reminds me of a quote from Tremors 2, as it often does. Bert, he's the weapons expert. He shoots, like he has this huge like elephant gun, and he shoots one of the shriekers, which are smaller monsters at this point, and it just like blows him up, right? It just like obliterates this monster, and they're like, whoa, Bert, and he goes, doing what I can with what I got. It's such a great line. But I think oftentimes we kind of make these excuses as creatives that we're like, only if I had this inspiration, or only if I had this tool, or I could make sick music if I could afford this software, or I could make stuff better if I had a nicer instrument or whatever. But, Rick Rubin saying, do what you can with what you have right now, like what's available to you. And I think we can view that in inspiration. I think we can view it in tools or like your current life experience, right? Like all of that is good, but you have to be aware, you have to be present in how to mine that for quote unquote inspiration.
It reminds me of like gearheads when it comes to like music. Like guys will be obsessed with buying a new pedal, new guitar, yet they still suck.
Yeah, right.
Me and Sammy joke about this all the time.
It's like the Edge from U2. All of your equipment's not going to make you a better guitar player.
Exactly. Okay. No, I think we probably saw it.
You know that most famous rock band?
Yes, I know. He's like, Sammy said this one. He's like, these dudes need to stop caring about gear and go home and start practicing scales.
Yeah.
Go home and start practicing something new on the guitar. Because like you can have all this gear, but you can still suck.
Yeah. I mean, that's like, you want to be flashy. Dude, freaking Freaks and Geeks. Have you watched it yet, Ben?
No.
It's on Hulu. We were just talking about how...
Wait. Who's in that?
Everybody. Seth Rogen, James Franco, Jason Segel.
First couple episodes in like high school.
Okay. It's only one season. It's great. It's like created by Paul Feig and Judd Apatow.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's like the beginning of kind of the Apatow disciples, if you will. But there's this clip where Jason Segel's character wants to be a drummer, and he's got like a 29-piece drum set. He's like, that's even more than Neil Peart from Rush. And he like tries out for this real rock band. It's just clear that he's not good.
Yeah.
And like the guitar player's like, hey, good luck with that 29-piece, huh? Maybe you'll get to 30 one day. But it's like a great example of what you're saying. Like, you don't need a 29-piece drum set. Like, you should probably master the snare, hi-hat, and kick drum, right?
I've seen dudes sound amazing with just those three. They could sometimes that's all you freaking need.
Well, and I think too, just from like a creative element, when you put limitations on yourself, it forces you to be creative, right? Like when you have too many options, there's like a choice fatigue where you're like, I don't even know how to like do all of this, but you can narrow it down.
I came up with this like thing that I repeat to myself within the last few months, and I just started kind of repeating it to myself because I thought it was just helpful in the season I'm in. And I would say, wherever, like if you have necessity, that usually it's like the mother of when you need to invent. So I'll say like necessity is the mother of invention, and I'll just say it to myself. But I came up with it a few months ago on my own without any help.
You liar. I mean, it is a great point though, right? Like necessity is the mother of innovation. That's like, I mean, I think you have to, we've talked about that before too. You have to like create problems per se that you're like, well, even if you don't have a real problem, you're like, well, this is the problem that I need to solve.
Yep.
How do we do it? Which is why like the space race like created so many new inventions, because there was this fake problem. Newsflash, Ben. You don't, no more DC talk.
Okay, I was like, what am I? I could talk
we
about
don't
DC
talk. We don't need to go
if they knew I was a Jesus freak.
We don't need to go to the moon.
That was for Alex Guernsey.
We don't need to go to the moon.
Yes, we do.
That's a fake problem. That is a fake problem they created.
No, we need to beat the commies.
Yeah. That's a real problem, but going to the moon was not the correct solve.
It didn't help.
We gotta beat the communists. How are we gonna do it? Let's get to the moon first.
Yeah.
I'm excited about that new movie, Fly Me to the Moon. They're like filming the fake moon landing.
Yes, that looks amazing.
Good. Okay.
So many of the things that we have that have been breakthrough 20th century inventions were literally because of the space race. Yeah. There was a real need for satellites, and satellites are still pretty important.
I still think that there's not really that great of an importance for it.
If you're not like that,
if you're trying to beat Russia in a war,
I do think that it's sick.
Trying to beat Russia in a war, yes, you have to have satellites.
Satellites are a good idea. What is
Velcro computers?
What's the movie? I think it's the Get Smart movie.
Yeah.
When they're like, someone's gonna attack like the LA, like, I don't know, arena or whatever, and the president is like, how can this happen when we have all the satellites and the like? We have so many satellites. How could we have not known about this?
That movie's so freaking funny.
Such a funny
I think it's Get Smart, right?
I think yeah.
All right. So this is a quote from I circled this in Rick Rubin's book. There is no telling where the next great story, painting, recipe, or business idea is going to come from. Just as a surfer can't control the waves, artists are at the mercy of the creative rhythms of nature. This is why it's of such great importance to remain aware and present at all times, watching and waiting.
Yeah.
I really love the concept of the surfer image, because you're out in the waves and you're like feeling the waves and you're watching for the correct set to come along, especially in like a surfing competition where you have to perform with what the ocean provides for you. And sometimes someone gets a sick wave and there's like, well, I mean, he got the best wave. There's not a lot we can do about that. But like the great surfers, like there's a reason that people know Kelly Slater's name and no other surfer in the world, because like he's awesome at surfing.
Yeah,
like,
I know a lot about him. I've heard of him.
Listen, all you have to know is that he is a surfer and he's bald. Have you not?
So awesome.
You don't know the name Kelly Slater?
I thought that they called him the Tony Hawk Jesus because he walks on the water.
Probably.
I actually had no idea.
Okay, you guys. Well, everybody else in the world.
Yeah.
I don't know who Kelly Slater is, but he sounds
The point
awesome.
is that if you were to know a surfer, you would know
Kelly
Kelly
Slater.
Slater, or the girl from Soul Surfer,
Or
you beat me to it.
the penguin from Surf's Up.
Oh, bro, don't get me started on Surf's Up.
Or the other one you would know
Johnny Tsunami.
You would know. Yep, you would also know the Baywatch.
They don't surf.
Frick you. Screw
Or
you.
Point Break. Lawyers don't surf. This one does.
Well done.
Freaking Surf's Up is so good.
That's like one of Easton's favorite movies.
Is it really? Now I know what to talk to him about, because I asked him what his favorite movie was, and he was like, don't tell me you get on board with these like superhero movies. And I was like, well, I collect comic books, so
yeah.
I do like them.
Actually, I don't know if that's his favorite
this?
movie. Don't quote me on that.
Who is
I might
that
cut that out.
Easton Mulvaney, Trent's little brother.
He's 10 years old. What do you mean he's
No, he's
judging you
22.
for watching comic book movies?
He's 22.
Yeah, like I just said. What kind of 22-year-old is saying, don't tell me you get on board with these comic movies?
He is-
No, he doesn't say
What do you
bored with
mean?
comic book movies. He just doesn't like them.
No, he does not like him.
But
No, he said, don't tell me you get on board with these
on
comic book
board.
movies.
Yeah, yeah. Like
You don't have to get on board
everybody's
with
been
them.
on board with these movies before
They've
you
all
were
been
born.
Such a... I don't even know Easton. I've met Easton one time, and when I met him, I really liked him, and
He
he was
cuts
very
my
cool.
hair. He dresses cool.
Yeah, he looks freaking awesome. Easton, respect.
Respect,
I don't
bro.
know why you don't like Avengers Endgame. You're freaking crazy.
Well, that's what I told him. I was like, the Avengers are pretty good. But Surf's Up, man. It is hilarious. It's Shia LaBeouf being great. John Heater is super funny in it as the chicken. Man, yeah. That movie.
It's just good all around.
That movie makes me laugh. But
I
the
think
point of all of that was, despite your situation, despite your tools, like, there is inspiration out there, and you have to like learn how to tune into it. And I think to turn it spiritually in right under the gun here, right under the wire.
Yep.
To
James.
turn it spiritually, I think as Christ followers, if you are in tune with the Holy Spirit, right?
Ooh.
Which is interesting because like I think the creative act kind of comes from a lot of like Eastern philosophy feelings. Like you gotta like get in with nature and like in the source and all of that. And I'm like, I agree. Like I just kind of sub out like the source with the Holy Spirit, right? We just have a
name for the source because he's personal.
Totally. Yeah. But I think if you're in tune with the Holy Spirit, you will receive inspiration on like a regular basis. But then from there, you have to like kind of decipher and what's the spiritual word that I'm looking for?
Discern.
Discern. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
You got to discern, me, I'm super like, I can get inspired and feel inspired super easily and want to run off in a million directions. And so I have to like discern like what is the path that I should be taking and like what I should be focusing my efforts on, because I could very easily be like, I'm going to do this. No, I'm going to do this. And like, even when Northtown is down, I've had like people reach out and it's like, do you want to do, I was kind of like talking half jokingly, half serious with somebody who's just like, I don't know, you could buy this coffee shop from me if you want. I'm like, you're right, I could.
That's awesome.
I should probably get Northtown up and running first. But there is like, it's like, okay, this necessity moment, there's like a lot of opportunity and a lot of like things happening because people are looking at me and they're like, oh, Northtown's not happening right now. What if I give you this offer? And it's like just the synapses, electric things are firing off in my brain.
The electric boogaloo.
Yeah. And I'm like, what should I do? But the interesting thing is I can't run and do all of these things. I should probably get Northtown up and running first. But what is it going to lead to? Like these inspirations now, what is it going to lead to in the future?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, what if a year from now, I'm like, actually, now it's the right time for me to buy or to merge or whatever?
Yeah. Yeah, I think even like you're talking about with Rick Rubin, who I have a lot of respect for. And I think
Ricky Rubes.
As you've walked, I haven't read the book, but as you've been walking us through the book, it sounds like she's genius stuff. But I think one of the big differences is you can connect to all the spiritual energy in the universe, and you can connect to all of the openness to nature and stuff for your own benefit, and it will like the being open to the source and nature and whatever, and just being open to inspiration, which is funny because inspiration is literally a word that we only have because of Christian theology, but it literally means being filled with the Spirit of God. But you can be open to inspiration and it will take you so far. But I think a lot of people that I know, and I would even say definitely myself included, when you're open to inspiration for the sake of your own fulfillment and your own gain, there's only so much to be tapped into. And I think the moment when you really access the fullness of the power of the Spirit of God for inspiration and discernment, and to help inspire you and activate and utilize all the giftings that God himself has placed in you, is like the reason that we even started this podcast, even though we do a lot of silly stuff, the reason that you started this podcast was like literally creating for, and I'm trying to think of your language, but creating for the kingdom, like creating for the kingdom, and not just the kingdom of like church organization, but the kingdom of heaven on earth.
Right.
The joy of the God invading the hopelessness of the world that we live in.
Yeah.
And when you surrender yourself and say, I want to be inspired, but not just to the source of this ambiguous source and the divine nature, but I want to be inspired so that God would use me to bring the kingdom of heaven into the world that I live in. Then I think you tap into you begin to partner with God, and God begins to activate your giftings and inspire you and lead you, and the Holy Spirit himself begins to direct you and tell you where to go and what to do, and empower you to do things that you couldn't otherwise do, and create things that you otherwise couldn't create, and give you divine interventions with other people that God's putting in your path so that you can partner in kingdom and in work of the kingdom of heaven. So
I do think
100% agree with you.
I think Jesus fits well with me personally.
Good.
Probably with you guys too. But
I think more should.
Just like how I like think about creativity and just like work in general. When I'm like following somebody, I really hate like a micromanager. Like it sucks all the life out of like what I'm trying to do. Yes. What I really love, and like my old lead pastor was super great at this, was he was like, I want to accomplish this.
Yeah.
Go.
Good luck.
Right.
Yeah.
And so it's just like, and so I feel like, you know, Jesus and Christianity, it's like, well, this is the kingdom of God. This is what it looks like. This is what we know it to look like, full of love, joy, hope, peace, absent of hate, hurt, you know, pain.
Yeah.
And then it's like, well, God has given you this gift, whatever it may be, and now it's up to you to like decide how you want to use it and how you want to be an active member, right? Like God is you know, Christians believe that God is an active part in creation, but also in the same way, he's slightly passive because he empowers, but then steps back and is like, all right, like you have to be the one to like make these steps, like
because of free will.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. But I also think too, like, I think that God gives you like almost like parameters to work within. And it's not like you have to do this, like God's not saying, and this is like a kind of a thing that used to be, I think it's probably less now, but when we were growing up in youth group, it was like the higher calling is like you have got to be in ministry or lead worship. And you're like, I just really feel inspired like by the Holy Spirit, and I think I'm going to be a youth pastor. And you're like, that's probably because right now you're surrounded by like 50 youth pastors that you view to be cool. And if you're listening to this and you just listen to Darius and you're like, I might want to be a youth pastor, you should do it, man. Being a youth pastor is a ton of fun.
You should absolutely do it.
But that's not like a quote unquote higher calling. Like you don't have to be an author. You don't have to be a great singer. You don't have to be whatever. Like you can do so many things that like build the kingdom of God and provide hope, love, and peace in the world around you.
Literally the everyday doldrums of your life when you are in Christ are kingdom building activities.
Yep. Did we talk? We talked about that the like daily humdrum stuff can be like
I'm sure we have talked
spiritual.
About it.
I feel like
I think we may have done like a full episode on it, but regardless, it's
I mean, it's so good. I mean, I think you can work on your creativity and it can feel like it's not accomplishing anything, but it is like potentially a divinely spiritual thing.
Yeah.
And I think kind of like what Rick Rubin was saying, you don't know where the next like great song, great recipe, great business idea is going to come from. Like you have to be aware, you have to be tuned in. And so I think you have to look for inspiration. I think you have to work. And through that, like, who knows? Like maybe you will create the next great thing. Maybe you will create something that impacts like a single person, or maybe you'll create something that literally nobody sees, but it like provides like a fulfilling outlet for you in that moment. And that is like also really important. Our friend, Kate and I's friend, Gabby, Darius, you know Gabby. Gabby
Short for Gabrielle.
High school. Gabby and Cherie and
I know Gabby. Gabby Huff?
Yeah. I forgot her.
I know Gabby.
Her maiden
She's a
name.
wonderful human being.
She writes our D&D campaigns, and
I love
you're
that.
like, how is D&D spiritual? But like her creative act, like we get together with the same group of 6 people, like 7 people, like every month, and she like creates these cool campaigns, and it is like we have a better sense of community because we hang out with these people on a regular basis, surrounding like her creative like act of writing D&D campaigns. It's great.
Yeah, very cool.
Okay, I think that's I think we have
made an episode.
We've solved the world's problems.
I think so. I think we're done.
And it's done. Yeah, so
if you're listening to this on a desert island, good luck. You've got probably less than 2 days left.
I can take one thing with me on the desert island. And
download this
New Way Stories podcast. Unfortunately, they forgot about a battery charger, so
I feel like that's
they can listen to like a few episodes.
I feel like that's something Riley Wilkinson would do.
Oh, right in there, Riley. You're welcome.
Right under the buzzer.
Under the buzzer. Yeah. Hey, if you liked what you heard, you can subscribe on Spotify or give us
or if you don't
5-star review. Follow us. Do all that cool stuff. You can follow us on New Way Stories. Also, man, I've really been enjoying the emails that have been coming in. We should probably talk about some of those emails sometimes. But Denton coming in. It's been a ton of fun just to react and respond and just kind of be in conversation with a lot of you on a regular basis. It's so much fun.
What should be the email today? What should be the prompt for people to write? Should it be Desert Island? Should it be Captain America trailer? Gladiator trailer?
Any of it, but Desert Island talk probably.
Let's do Desert Island talk.
Yeah. How long would you survive? What would you bring?
Yeah. What would you do? Who would you eat first?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's a fun situation because you get to pick who you're bringing to the island.
Yeah.
And the person you get to eat. That's a very maniacal sort of fantasy. Usually it's like, all right, you're stranded on a desert with these 3 people. Who do you eat first? But you get to pick who you're going to the island with. I get to pick my best friends that we're going to stay, we'll get to hang out forever, but we're also going to bring this common enemy that we're going to eat right away.
Yeah.
Ben.
And it's always Ben.
Dang it.
What were you going to say, Ben?
No, your joke is better. Let's go.
Yeah, it is.
Ben's mom, we would never eat your son.
No. Well,
I want you to know that. Mrs. Salazar,
what happens if he dies of natural causes?
You could just let me die.
Are we going to bury him?
We're going to wrap it up there.
You can let me die.
I would say first we would cut him up in like a tauntaun and use him for warmth at night.
Yeah.
Good point.
We'd see how long we can.
On that desert island, we're going to really need some warmth.
And I thought he smelled bad.
Desert island in the Antarctic.
That's it. Actually, the Antarctica is a desert. So
you're a desert.
Doesn't have to be warm.
Actually, you're a dessert. That's why I'd like to eat you on the desert island.
Hey. This has been New Way Stories. Write in NewWayStoriesPod@gmail.com. We love you guys. We will see you next week.